It's the first day I'm getting out and trying to get acquainted with a couple pieces of public that are in the area that we're staying. I'm slowly realizing that I severely underestimated the difficulty of trying to squeeze in a public land antelope bow hunt while on family vacation with a 10-month-old. My wife, who I can't stress enough is incredible for even allowing me to do this, but we had a day today where we didn't really have much planned in terms of things we wanted to go do or see, and she actually told me that she had some work she wanted to try to get done, so she practically kicked me out of the place and told me to go explore for a little while she's trying to get some work done and the baby's napping. So here I am out on the eastern plains of Colorado. See what I can find. I'm seeing a bunch of antelope in the area. I've seen a pile of antelope, but I'm just not seeing them. There's one. There is one right there. And that's a buck. This is the first antelope I've seen on public. Just bedded down out there. That's a really nice buck. He looks pretty big, so I'm gonna spin around and see if I can go back to that access. I hiked up to this glass knob. That antelope buck is just right up over the hill here. Let's see if I can get an eye on him. Positive that this is the reason that this buck's just standing up here, but I just zoomed in on Onyx. There's a water hole down here in this bottom. I'm assuming he's gonna go water there eventually. He has not moved at all, and I've probably been here for half an hour. He's just standing there, and he'll look different ways and then face different ways for a little bit. The wind also switched out of now it's kind of more of a southeast. I'm gonna loop around all of this and try and get behind that buck.
you guys to the crest of that hill that he's on. If I can get behind some of that taller sage over there, it's 48 yards.
That was awesome. Got my first stalk in on a really big buck, a really nice buck, to me anyway. Didn't have my game bags in my pack, didn't have my spotter ready. Still had to put my arrows in my quiver when I got my bow out of the case. I mean, I was not prepared at all. But I'm like, this is too good of an opportunity to just keep driving and pass this up where I've got the parking access right here. That buck is right there, like 400 yards. I got into about 120 yards. And I don't know if he caught a whiff of me or if when I looked away for a second to grab my binos, he just turned and looked my direction and then noticed me. I don't know what it was, but he turned and I could tell he was looking right at me, and the gig was up. I didn't even plan on hunting today. I just was gonna scout these public pieces out and just kind of get my bearings on where I needed to go and where I needed to park and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna count today as a huge success just by getting the stalk on that big buck. So yeah. Headed back to my girls up in the mountains. I'll be back in Antelope country probably in a couple days. We'll see how it plays out. All right, well, I just pulled into the same parking access I was in the other day when I went after that buck right over here. And sure enough, the first two antelope I spotted right here, probably 350 yards off the road. And I thought it was two does, but it's actually two bucks. One of them's real small, like really young. Definitely not interested in him, but the other one is nice. I mean, he's not that big, but he's definitely, I would definitely take a shot at that buck if given the opportunity. I was gonna get out of the car once I parked here and hike up there and glass from that knob, but that's right where these bucks are standing, right there on that knob. So I'm just gonna sit here for a minute, I guess, and see what these bucks are gonna do. This one just bedded down right by that cactus, so I don't know how long I might go on down the road and look at a couple different spots and then come back and see if they're still here. I'm back at this parking access, set up on these bucks, just glassing them. And now it's just a waiting game. They're each feeding on or behind that cactus. And I know if I go barreling down this hill, or even just try to walk that way, one of them's gonna pick me off. And that'll be the end of it, so. Hopefully they'll work just over the crest of that hill, and that'll allow me to gain a lot of ground on them before I have to really slow my game down. But I'm all packed up, geared up, ready to go. Just waiting on them now.
buck is bedded right there.
Meep. 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 Meep.
I just blew it. Damn it. How did I mess that up? Just a clean miss. Oh, that was terrible. That was perfect. I'm not gonna get another opportunity like that. That was perfect. I drew back on him for the second or third time, just practice. And that buck over here, that smaller buck, that little buck over here saw me. I wasn't about to let down and then have this buck take off, and then that just spooked the other buck that I was going after. So I just stayed at full draw, and I'm like, well, I gotta get him to stand up now. And I just started like I'm trying to stop a deer. Bam, bam, bam. He stood up and was facing straight away from me, and then he turned perfectly broadside. And I pulled that shot so bad. I got all excited once he actually stood up. Man, I was starting to cramp up. It's so hot out here right now. It's like 95. That was awesome. 44 yards, and I blew it.
I'm gonna be beating myself up over that one for a long time. You don't get too many opportunities at a nice antelope buck with a bow inside of 50 yards. Once you get to sub 50 yards, that's a rare occurrence on antelope with a bow, spot and stock bow hunting anyway. God, everything was perfect. Execution was perfect. The execution of the stock was perfect. Went right down in this drainage, and I landmarked that piece of cactus that he bedded by, and I just kept checking it, you know, as I came up the backside of this hill. Just terrible execution of the shot. Do all that work to get to within 44 yards. You're sub 50 yards on a bedded antelope buck. Perfect scenario. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. And man, to blow the shot like that, that stings. That's gonna be a tough pill to swallow for sure. Running out of battery, but I just spotted a stud on this other piece of public. And he's not far from the access point, so I'm gonna buzz back to this access point and see if I can make a move on this buck. Fifth and final outing of this trip for me. I just got out here. It's about noon. It's hot. It's 90. It's pretty much been the theme of any hunting that I've had on this trip. I've got pretty much the whole afternoon to work with today, and then I'm gonna head back, and me and the wife want to do a couple things this evening with the baby, last minute things before we head out tomorrow morning. Plus we're gonna start packing up and stuff like that. So I won't be out till dark probably, because we have these plans that we want to do, just a couple small things before we leave and put a bow on this trip. So yeah, I've got, I don't know, 5 hours, 5.5 hours to work with here. Hopefully I can find a couple bucks to stock before the trip comes to an end. And if not, like I talked about previously, you know, I had my opportunity and I blew it. And I've got no excuses, no complaints. I don't know what I did or what happened. Just a huge error on my part. That's bow hunting, and that's bow hunting pronghorn for you. So maybe I can get lucky before my hunt's over, and I can redeem myself and get another opportunity at a nice buck on some public land here in Colorado.
I've stalked back in here and I just spotted a buck. I'm pretty deep in the public right now. I had to get away from people. And so I just parked at a parking access and just started hiking in deep. And now I'm way in here and I've got a buck spotted on this next ridge over. I'm gonna see if I can get the spotter on him, see what he looks like, and see if I can make a play on him. There may not be a more fun way for me to start the year than chasing around some pronghorn on the high plains. So awesome first hunt in Colorado. Like I said, this has far exceeded any expectations that I had coming in. I've had an absolute blast out here, and I've got in some great stalks on some great bucks and seen a lot of awesome bucks. Not a lot of antelope, not a lot of public ground, but the antelope I did find were pretty good ones. So I'm just happy as hell to be able to lay down some footage of them and be able to see some good antelope. Colorado antelope hunt is in the books.